Alright guys, so this is a test and review of the Hercules 11amp angle grinder. So I'm putting it up against the Dewalt 13amp angle grinder, and you might not think that's fair, you might think it's fair. I'll show you at the end of the video kind of like a good little size comparison so that you can see the reason why I grabbed this particular 11 amp grinder was because of the form factor, so the size is very, very similar. The Dewalt is a little bit longer and the diameter is also a little bit bigger. But here I'm starting out with this Hercules 11 amp grinder, and it was on sale for $50, which I think that might be Inside Track Club price. The normal price, I think, was $70. I probably would not have picked it up for $70, simply just because I know I can get like a Dewalt, I believe, for like $85, something like that, and a similar 11 amp grinder. So I like it when my tools are a little bit more compact. This one it's a very, very good size. It's very comfortable. I'm using the Hercules 1/16 disc here, as you can see, and I will say that my very first impression of this angle grinder was that it was wildly underpowered. So when I'm laying the bed of the cut, I was having a little bit of some trouble here. I do bear down a little bit, and in bearing down, whenever I do that, you'll hear the angle grinder will kind of start to bog. I felt like it was bogging way, way too easily, especially as I progress further in my cut. But I will say that the comfort of it, this is an extremely comfortable angle grinder. The vibration was, I would almost have to say non-existent, let alone low. I'm using these smaller, just thin leather work gloves, and I'm using those because of the guard. It gives me a very good ability to, cast away the sparks, and it works very, very well. And so I'm able to avoid using the welding gloves. I do like to use the guard as a rest on my workpiece because I'm cutting such a large piece right here. So I'm using it as a rest, and then I use it almost like that pivot point. So here's where I start struggling. You can see I'm not really throwing a lot of sparks, and it's really, really just bogging down. So what I try to do is I try to come up here and get a little bit more aggressive with the cut, and just kind of cut down at the edge, which does cause your disc to wear quite quickly. But I'm really just trying to progress the cut. Right here, I do start to get a little bit frustrated, so I go around. The reason why I go around is because the blade is no longer submerged in the material. And so that'll allow just the edge to be contacting, so I won't be bogging down the angle grinder as bad. At this point, I'm really getting fed up cutting. You can see we're at 3 minutes and 50 seconds. This is an extremely long cut. So overall, my impressions of this angle grinder's power right now are that it is remarkably underpowered. But it finally makes the cut at 4 minutes and 10 seconds. I do put it at 1 star, and really what's going on here is that disc in and of itself is just a bad disc. So I immediately switch into cutting with the Diablo 40 thousandths disc. The cut begins to progress much, much faster. What I realized with these Hercules 1/16 discs is I would almost nickname them the grinder destroyer. The reason why I would call them that is why I'm going to account that feeling of a lack of power on this angle grinder. Is that disc is so bad that it just it overworks the grinder. And I don't understand how it can bog down the grinder while simultaneously not progressing a cut. Doesn't really make sense to me. I guess I would almost just compare it to like a dull blade. How a dull blade will burn your wood and bog down your saw, but it simultaneously won't cut. Now this Diablo, on the other hand, it's progressing very, very well. I'm decently far into the workpiece at this point. Again, it's, there's no vibration. I mean, this angle grinder is very, very comfortable to use. I would have to describe it overall as a pretty enjoyable experience. It has just like a good natural feel. It's not so powerful that I feel like it's going to jerk out of my hands and explode. But it's powerful enough to where with a good disc, I'm able to, push it pretty hard. So I'm just about done with this cut. Now I come into the peak to just finish the cut up and cut down. And there we go. So I finished. I put that at 4 stars. I could have probably been a little bit more aggressive with it, but overall it was very, very comfortable. So now you can see here, my Dewalt angle grinder, there's no guard, there's no handle, so I'm using these welding gloves, and that's because these sparks get thrown right into my hand, and it's very, very uncomfortable. So overall, I would say that, it's the actual experience of using a powerful angle grinder without any safety gear, it's not pleasant. I took off the guard. Some time ago in order to have better access to my cutting wheel in like a small space, and I lost it. And now it's actually made it so it's not enjoyable to use this angle grinder now, because if I have to do very, very heavy work with it, because there's no guard, it just throws the sparks directly into my hand. So. But I do still use it because my battery-powered angle grinders, if I have to do a significant amount of cutting or grinding, anything like that, I don't want to burn through 4 or 5 different batteries. I'd rather just use an angle grinder, have that consistent performance, and not have to worry about everything. In my shop, I have outlets everywhere, so it's more convenient for me to use a corded angle grinder than it is for me to use the battery-powered grinders. So this is, again, this is the Hercules. This is the Hercules disc. Really, this disc is what started all of this testing. I noticed that something was just up with it. This one right here is the best performing disc out of all the discs that I did test for the Hercules 11amp. And I chose to put this one in here because, I just wanted to show what it is actually capable of. The one that came in at 4 minutes and 10 seconds for the Hercules 11amp, I just grabbed a brand new disc fresh out of the pile. This is also a brand new disc, but out of all of the discs that I used for Hercules, this one was cutting the fastest. This is where I break down in my review where I say there's some kind of quality control issue going on. I don't understand exactly what it is. Some of them cut fine and others just do not cut, and they really, really are hard on your grinder. So I give that one 4 stars because, 2 minutes and 30 seconds really is not terrible. Now, these Diablos do cut significantly better, but 2 minutes and 30 seconds, hey, I'll take that. That's a disc. That 1/16 disc came out to about a month's sale, a pack of 10 for $8, so 80 cents for a disc versus almost $4 disc. I think that was a very good score. So now this 13 amp grinder on this 40 thousandths disc, you can really push this thing a lot harder. Since I don't have a guard and I don't have a handle, I have to control it a lot more with just my hands, and that's not super comfortable. So I'm not able to push as hard. I could get this faster, I could probably trim off 30 seconds if I was willing to destroy this disc in a single cut, and I really just want to push hard. I'd be willing to say I could trim off an additional 30 seconds from this time. So, but overall, I mean, you can really kind of see here the difference in the discs. First off, the Hercules disc and this Diablo disc, and then at the end you'll be able to kind of see and go over the difference in time. So at the end of this, I'm just going to kind of give you a visual breakdown where I'll show both angle grinders and talk about the pros and cons of each. Alright guys, so this is the conclusion of the review, and I'm just going to kind of show you what I thought about each of the angle grinders and show them together. So this is the Dewalt 13 amp, and I mean you can kind of see this is the form factor. This is going to be purpose for a 4.5 inch disc, and now this is the Hercules. They are almost the exact same size. They look incredibly similar. You can see right here, you know, the paddle switch, the way that the bottom brush section works. I mean, they look very, very similar. They really, really do. This is just a tad bit smaller, and that's kind of where it comes in too. The diameter of this, the way that it fits on my hand, it's a little bit on the big side. The way that this fits on my hand, it's a little smaller and it's more comfortable. I actually do like it. Now, if I did have my handle and guard for this, this would be a little bit of a more enjoyable experience. But I will say that this overall, it's a super, super comfortable angle grinder. The paddle action, it's a very large step off here, and it allows you to it's just a good feel. When you use it, it feels good. I like it. It's very light press, but it's plenty of motion. I don't like the arbor lock. It's a little bit too small. I never had any problems with it. It's just kind of small. And so while I'm using gloves and stuff, it can be a touch difficult to press. I do actually like this angle grinder guard style. I've used them in the past. You have a screw to tighten up, then this little latch mechanism, and it's unlimited positions. You can position it however you want to. They do also offer a lock where you can lock the trigger on. I don't use those. I never will, and I just don't use them because angle grinders are so horrifically dangerous. So, and this Dewalt, they don't sell this one anymore, but I'm sure that you can find some that are similar. The arbor lock's on the side, and I really, really love that. This is the only angle grinder that I have that has that arbor lock on the side. I actually had removed the trigger lock on this one, so I opened up the case and I took it out. Since the Hercules over here is going to be a shop angle grinder, this one's going to stay in my truck. I'm probably going to remove the lock on that one too because I don't want any of my employees to be locking it on. It's just dangerous, you know. So I'll probably be removing that as well. So yeah, this is the again, this was the Dewalt, and it's a much harder press, and because it's such a hard press in comparison, you know, I come down, I press it, and I get my grab. And then I tend to hold like this or like this, and then that's how I have to use it. If I had the garden handle, probably wouldn't be as uncomfortable to use. So overall, for $50, I've really got to say that is a very, very nice angle grinder. I'm super impressed with it. I will show you why I would not get it at its full price, which I believe its full price was $70 or $80, but I would not get it at that price. And it's not because I'm saying that it's not worth it. I just have a brand preference. So I'm going to share my screen. You'll be able to see. So sharing my screen here, you can see exactly what I'm looking at. And I'm just looking at corded angle grinders and an 11 amp right here. It's a 4.5 inch 11 amp angle grinder. So it's for $118. If the Hercules was, $70 or $80, I don't know that I'm going to be willing to spend that much money on the Hercules. I would probably prefer to purchase the Dewalt. It's just a brand that I'm used to. It's a brand that I know. And I know that it would be just fine. It's going to last me for years to come. The Hercules, I would just be a little bit hesitant, simply, it is a Harbor Freight tool, and some of those tools can really be hit or miss. Obviously these cutoff discs, the consumables, are truly a miss. I would just go with one that I had a little bit more experience with, that I know has stood the test of time. So this 11 amp right here at $120, I'm also going to get a military discount. So, in my mind, it's closer to $100. So am I going to buy Hercules for $30 less? The answer is no. Am I going to buy Hercules for $50 less? The answer is yes. I think it was a really good purchase now at $50. Because you can see right here, this Ryobi 5.5 amp corded angle grinder at $50. That's what $50 gets you at Home Depot. And that's I don't think that's $50 well spent. I would not buy that thing. You can see there's another one right here. There's a Dewalt 11 amp right here. I wonder 402W versus a 402. I'd have to look and see what the difference is between the two of them. But again, it's even closer in price. $94 after my military discount. It's going to be, $86, something like that. Am I going to pay, such a small difference and then wind up with a Hercules? No, I'm not. But even still, coming in at $50, that is a world of a difference. Yeah, you can see, any of these angle grinders in that $50 range, a 6.5 amp Black & Decker, I am going to stay away from that thing like the plague. So I am not interested in it. Now, I will tell you that if you had to step it up into a larger grinder to match that 13 amp, that's going to be a little bit of a different discussion. Mostly because most of the 13 amp angle grinders that are out there are not actually just purposed for the 4.5 inch discs. They can be dual disc size, so 4.5 inch or I think it's 5 inch. You can go a little bit bigger. This 13 amp right here at $150 is a 4.5 inch disc angle grinder. The issue that I have is that form factor. I'm positive that trigger is going to be very enjoyable and it's going to be comfortable to use, but it's a longer angle grinder. And if I'm going to be using one in the shop out in the exposed area, one that I don't care about the size of it, sure, that's fine. But honestly, I'm typically keeping these on the bed of my truck. And I lay down inside of machinery and use these angle grinders. So the smaller, the better. The Hercules 13 amp is going to be a pretty much identical form factor to this one. It's this long, pistol grip style trigger. So that's the reason why I did not purchase the 13 amp was because of the form factor. I purchased the 11 amp because the form factor is virtually identical to the Dewalt, just a slightly smaller motor. Which I'd have to tell you that the slightly smaller Hercules, that smaller motor, less power, I'd say is worth it just because it's a little bit more comfortable for me. Now, what I would say is in regards to the power overall, I did take amp draws, averaging amp draws while I was doing this. The the Hercules disc, really does cause these angle grinders to struggle. So when I was testing the Hercules angle grinder with the Hercules discs, I was getting 10 and a half, 11 amps. So I mean, I'm really bogging these things down. And then I was getting the same with the Dewalt. Now, granted, kind of described, I can't push the Dewalt as hard since I don't have the handle and I don't have the guard, so that I can really kind of act with that fulcrum to put a proper amount of pressure into it. I'm sure I could hit 13 amps with the Hercules, and still not be happy with its performance. So I'm able to max out the power on this Hercules 11 amp, and the cut time is just still terrible. I mean, all of them is just, it's so slow. Now, when I use the Diablo, I did a whole bunch of cuts with the Diablo. When I was pushing that thing extremely hard, I mean, it's making it cut as fast as I possibly could, because I did 4 different runs on the Hercules angle grinder with the Diablo 40 thousandths disc. When I pushed it as hard as I possibly could, I got 9.7 amps. And, that cut time is 1 minute 30 seconds. So it's significantly faster with that disc, and it doesn't work the angle grinder as hard. When I am bearing down on this Hercules 1/16 disc, which I cut with it 3 separate times, I'm getting 10 and a half amps, and the cut time is still just pitiful, absolutely pitiful. So the overall impression of the Hercules 11 amp angle grinder is, I think it's a good buy at $50. I would recommend really picking it up. Unless you just have no purpose for an angle grinder of that size, you just, I don't know, use wire wheel brushes on stuff or something, get something smaller. It's a really good angle grinder for $50. I would end up rating it 5 out of 5 for its price. And I would recommend pairing it with a good disc. Don't buy those Hercules 1/16 discs. And I would actually go further and say don't buy the Bauer either, because I did test those, and those also did pitifully. Pair it with a nice, thin kerf disc, and I think you'd be super happy overall with this angle grinder.